And there we go. You know what? That is an extremely long countdown. I am not gonna hold you.
30 seconds, my boy. Like
it was. I'm still learning how to do this.
Like, look, full disclaimer for everybody watching: we love you guys, we really do. But neither Alex nor myself really know what the fuck we're doing when it comes to technology. So listen, y'all just gotta roll with us, all right? Look, we figuring it out.
Making it work. Because good Lord. I'm trying to make sure we went live on IG. I don't even know I connected it. This is brand new, but it's going to the YouTube. I know it's going to the YouTube.
Yeah.
So I gotta post that right now. But yes, I'm glad I just come back. It's been a couple of weeks that we've been off. You know what I mean?
Life, you know. But we're here.
Yeah. How have you been?
Okay. Grief is a thing. It's a huge thing. So we're getting through that. But all is well.
Definitely.
I had a great weekend, so I'll take it.
Definitely agree. Yeah, grieving it does take time. You know what I mean? So I do support that, and that you are actually taking the time that you need to get yourself together. It's a process.
Yeah, for sure. Oh Lord.
Yeah. Oh, but we got a special guest today.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah. She does a lot of things out here. She is
doing it with the community. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
She definitely is. One thing I do want to say, she does have an event coming up. I wanted to talk about that. She does practice polyandry. She got a couple on the Rolodex. You know what I mean? She about to drop some jewels today, so I'm excited. And there is this question that's crazy, right? Because there was a question that I gotta go to IG. There was a question that, and I want to ask you the same thing because I have posted a video, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was and one of my friends, she was part of Try It So Lit. She said that if she ever finds herself in a situation with a man that has another woman again, that she's gonna have another male partner.
Yeah.
And someone commented, they said, that's not a closed tribe. That's an open relationship. What will be the real true purpose of the additional man? Your reason, or is it just your ego, or is it simply because your man has another option? So I want to answer that question because she didn't answer it. She looked like,
what? Okay, we can definitely answer that question.
So we're gonna get into this, but without further ado, let me go ahead and bring up the one and only goddess. Let's see. I got it. Look, I get it. What's up, mommy?
And as you can see, I was 1,000% correct. Gorgeousness.
Oh.
For sure.
How are you doing this evening? Can you hear me?
What'd you say?
How you doing this evening?
I'm fabulous. I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be.
Look, hold on. I need to kind of fix this. And for those that don't know, right, that you want to kind of introduce yourself, tell them where you're. Well, I don't know if you want to say where you're from, but tell them a little bit about yourself and everything you got going on.
Yeah. I'm from Houston, Texas. My name is Goddess Jessie. I'm the owner and operator of the Sweet Love Sanctuary in 3rd Ward, Texas. It's a place where you could come and be free. Come and heal. Come and tap into your ancestry. Come and tap into your divine feminine, your divine masculine, your sensuality, your sexuality, your relationship style and lifestyle. And really do it from a place that's safe. And so I have a background as a tantric practitioner, in a practice called a Spa, and I am a bona fide goddess. So that's me.
I love that.
That's who I.
So I gotta ask a question, right? Because we are on a non-monogamous show. How long have you been practicing non-monogamy?
Oh, officially practicing non-monogamy since like 2009, 2010. So that's like 25 years. But I don't think I've ever really been monogamous mindset like my whole life growing up.
Break that down.
That space, like were you just kind of moving in the space of monogamy for the sake of this is what I'm supposed to do, even though I have an alternative mindset when it comes to relationship, but I'm doing the thing that everybody tells us that we're supposed to do. Was that type of situation for you?
I think that I was monogamous in the mindset of just like, yeah, that's just what you did. I always like liked many people, you know, at the same time, just growing up, not thinking that that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once my womanhood and my pussy became like in its maturity, that's when it naturally actually went to that. I think I was at one when I was at one. And some people, that's where they are and that's where they stay. But most people, it's actually not. There's actually more to that once you kind of grow into be able to handle that. And so once I got into, I mean, anybody that went to college or that was, you know, having relationships in high school, you probably were dating multiple people or, you know, like that was happening. Like, let's not act like the multiple connections and interactions is something that's new to like really any of us. Right. But once I think, actually engaged into my actual like first serious relationship on that level, it was when it came into the door. And so that's like 2009, and I've been rocking it ever since, but different styles of it.
Okay. So it's kind of morphed into different things as you went along.
Yeah. So I mean, so I was married before.
Okay.
And in my first marriage, I mean, my first like ever like multiple, especially sexual interaction was the night of my engagement party. So like, I definitely,
okay.
And it like brought us closer. It was a beautiful experience. But you know, on the side of just like my personal desires and stuff like that, that came together in that place. It didn't work out because I'm not married to that person anymore. And I definitely said that I would do poly again, that I wouldn't not do that because my marriage didn't work out.
Right.
Do it again, but I would do it in a different way versus trying to like make something happen from what's already there to be able to create really what I want from the ground up. And so I think that that is where the more multiple male partner side of things went, because in my dynamic before, I think that it's just common for people to come into polyamory, and especially women. And it's like the gateway drug is a threesome. You know what I'm saying? And
facts.
Never heard about weed being like a gateway drug, but no, it's a threesome.
That's a sex gateway drug right there.
You know,
that's funny.
A lot of women are sexually fluid, bisexual, pansexual by nature. A lot of people are, period, but I'm focusing on the women right now.
Yeah.
And so it's a natural flow, I think, to come into that like world. But really, truly, as a feminine individual, where usually it's like something that's being added on to what we already know, that's not really our core desire. It's just the fed desire. It's the available desire. You know, it is the most. And then usually on the other side of that, there's either a suppression of something or a rejection of, you know, how you said the question, girl saying, I want to have another male partner or what have you. So that first time around, it was, you know, another woman, and it was cool for what it was. I probably would have been more honest with myself that I wanted another male partner, and I probably could have had it, but I was scared that even if I did it, and even if they said that they were okay with it, all that stuff, that I would be looked at differently once it happened. And so that fear and that limiting belief kept me from probably living more in the truth. And we could have dealt with it just like you deal with anything when you introduce, you know, into poly-style dynamics. But I didn't want to go through that. I was scared to go through that. And so I just kind of kept it on being a one dick, you know, chick, and then having, you know, multiple. Well, we had a girlfriend.
Okay.
You know, partner. And it didn't last as long, but that's not why it broke up. But I just feel like regardless, if I would have been like idealize that situation, I wouldn't have been in a 2-woman, one dynamic solely. Absolutely.
You know what? Unfortunately, a huge issue within even our community and society as a whole is patriarchy, toxic masculinity, and all that. And oftentimes, women take on those characteristics upon themselves. And they're like, I can't be who I want to be because I'm so worried about I'm going to get slut shamed. They're going to call me a whore. Like they're going to say that I'm just out here being loose, even though, you know, men do what you want to do. If your girl lets you have, hey, you that boy like that. Well, what? Your girl lets you? What? Okay. But as a woman, it's like, girl, like, why don't you just want to settle down? Like, what is it? Like, what, your one man ain't good enough for you? Like, you need what? It's that whole thing. And the minute that we release all that is the moment that you can actually live in your truth and your purpose.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Please. Ladies, please let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah, no, the slut shaming is like.
What happened to Natasha?
Where'd she go?
I'm more sure she'll come back. I don't know. But yes, the slut shaming, what are you going to say?
The slut shaming is like number one. It is the root of most of it. And that's everybody's like personal journey, you know. Like I said, I probably could have had what I wanted, but I was scared. You know, yeah, patriarchy exists and all that stuff, but your truth is your truth.
Definitely. I think
is she coming back?
Yeah, no, she hasn't said it yet. But when she comes back, I'm gonna bring her back on. I don't know what happened. It might have been her iPad died, or I have no idea. It's Natasha. But no, with slut shaming, you do see that a lot. You know, that is a very big thing that it is a lot for a lot of people. I was on a recent podcast and I had said a conversation I had with a gentleman previously, and he had said that he could be a boyfriend to a woman who has a husband, but he couldn't be a husband to a wife that had a boyfriend. You know, you have to think about that one for a little bit, right? I had to process it.
Say that one more time. He could be a boyfriend
to a woman with a husband, but he cannot be a husband to a woman that has a boyfriend.
Okay, so basically he's saying he's comfortable being in like a well, that sounds like a higher position, so a secondary space than the primary space.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to break it down to. Like I was trying to understand that perspective. Because you're looking at kind of like the responsibility kind of space. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like
the image? Oh, I'm a side, you know, dude is cool for a man, but oh, my wife has a boyfriend is not. So that's probably why he's like cool. He not down when he not against doing it. He just don't want he wants like the player versus like however they, you know, twist it for the husband. But
facts.
I mean, I feel like that the narrative of like I don't need a man, and I have been like, oh no, I need men. I need multiple men. Like that's like to turn the tables a bit to like let people understand the gravity of like my essence in this world. And for what I need in this life, like yes, like men are valuable. Like I look at it in a totally different way. And how valuable they are, I desire and need more than one. There she goes.
Oh, there she go. See, okay, so not to to touch on that, right? Now, my challenge is right as a man who had multiple women, right? You know, it was like scheduling, trying to make sure, you know, I'm validating emotionally, you know, strategically. Taking them on as individuals, you know, I know to capacity, also understanding my capacity because I have children too as well. You know, are these some of the challenges that you have? I know a lot of people sit there and say men and women are very different. How is it for a woman when it comes to having multiple men, and how does that engagement look like, and what challenges do you see for yourself?
I think that just the fact that it's only 24 hours in a day is the biggest like challenge. I mean, so let me make it clear. So I am a polyandrous goddess. I am a woman with multiple partners, but I do also have a girlfriend. But I identify, I know, right? I identify as polyandrous because of, I like more of the state of it, yes. But like, so you understand, like, it's kind of like saying mask center, you know, like someone was, you know, to let you know, like, where I predominantly reside. And I think saying polyamorous is a little foo-foo, honestly. And this gives you more of a like understanding of like what it is. You know, like I'm not against women, but I am a male dominant relationship style.
I like that. I like how you broke it down. Because I instantly always just tell people when they're like, "What do you practice?" I'm non-monogamous. I cannot tell you where my journey is going to take me. Just know I
Right.
know I'm on that joint. I'm somewhere right now. I don't know where I fall, but I fall somewhere in that. So no, I definitely.
So, being in a polycule style dynamic, I mean, people also communicate with each other too. So it's, pretty easy to me, like coordinate just what's available. I mean, life is just so busy now. People have children, people have businesses. And so it's like, we only got so many weekends in a month. And so I think from the jump, intentions were set and like desires and requirements were set. But again, this was building a polycule from the ground up, and also from places with people who, not new to this, but true to this. So I know it's like a little bit different,
Hierarchy.
And like you said, that heal component. So I think that in a situation where everyone knows, who they are, they know their roles and positions, the emotional need just gets expressed if it needs to, and we, support through that. But I would like an app. I have it in my system of how to help, use some AI in there or something to be like, over 4 weeks, you should make a check-in.
Check in with partner A. Yeah. That would be
amazing. Be able to set like, okay, this time is for everyone. This time is for male partners. This time is for like all three, like, however you want to mix it, to be able to like have slots available and people to just claim their time. Because I feel like in polyamory, it's different than in monogamy, where you almost have to like request time with people, where I feel like in polyamory, it's like, come take it. Like I have these various, times. And if you want to connect with me, let's intentionally do that and set what that is for us, and not try to make the connections I have with you in the, time and everyone like equal. Just what do you need, and what do you need, and what do you need? And if that works for me, being the person that's with all these people, then cool. And then we do also have I'm table. So like everyone knows each other, everyone, so,
do you have a hierarchy?
Huh?
Do you have a hierarchy?
I am hierarchy.
Okay.
You are hierarchy, and see, this is why I asked my question, because I know there's a lot of men that are very emotional creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so that's why I asked, how, with having so many men, how is, but the hierarchy too. I'm going to touch on that too. Cause I have a love-hate with hierarchy, but, but not, because I see the benefit behind hierarchy, depending, it's situational, right? It depends the type of situation you got and how hierarchy is going to benefit it. Like when it's an open triad, and you have a core center nesting partners, that you should have hierarchy in that sense, because at the end of the day, the home should come first and foremost. It should be understood from outside your partners. In some senses, when you're putting if you're gonna have a closed situation, then I don't believe there should be hierarchy, because why are you putting hierarchy on a closed situation if it's just y'all three, y'all four, whatever it is? Mutual respect should be given. I was gonna say it's a give or take kind of situation. Everything's situational,
right?
But that's why I asked that question. How do you handle having multiple male partners, and do they ever get into their, into their ego or into their emotions with you?
Right. I mean, I like, as I'm talking about it, because it's not like something I just have been talking about in this way for a very long time. Mm-hmm. But I realize that I am a very blessed situation.
I got the juice.
Yeah. No, I don't really deal with that. I think that, so for me, living the goddess lifestyle, I'll always move from a place of what I call having a love nest. And the love nest is anybody that supports my love, right? And so I look at many relationships as valuable. So this could be friendships, this could be business-ships, this could be loverships, where it's physically just a sexual relationship, and so on, and then the standard ones, right? And so I think that moving from a place that like everybody's valuable, whatever that connection is, I think removes ego. you know, and it's been very clear kind of like from the beginning. And actually I did start dating them 1 week apart. So I think that when things fit, and when you get support, like in the right place, like it just kind of goes together like a puzzle piece, you know. But everyone has a various lifestyle. I do have a primary partner, and there's like nesting and all that stuff that comes into that. And then, you know, my secondary partner where we connect fits perfectly with that, you know. And
but you know what, that also goes into the type of men that you are attracted to and the type of men that you attract. That's a whole nother conversation that's oftentimes not had, because people always ask like, do your men feel this? Do you feel no? Because I chose the right motherfucker.
Right. Yeah. So I used to have a belief that the men that I dated didn't want to share me. And backwards, that was like an energetic thing of like the masculine machismo alpha man thing that we like feel like we desire. And then to switch my belief, I just like let that go, right? And also let go of like what alpha actually is.
There you go.
And, you know, coming into a dynamic of men who know who they are, and like really the rest don't even matter. You know, they're not worried about what whoever think or whatever, you know, they're not worried about that. And the rest kind of like falls in place, you know. So I think when you're dealing with an elevated masculine energy, and even one that has a balance of their own, you know, masculine and feminine energy, you just don't deal with those kind of things. It doesn't come up like that. Like it may, but you have the tools to kind of like communicate through it and move forward. But that's not like the norm to have to.
That's another conception. People think that us women who have multiple male partners, that we date quote unquote single. We're dating quote unquote beta men. We're dating men that are lesser. That's completely false. Complete.
Yeah. Any relationship style is exempt from you having an alpha or a beta or a sigma. I don't think it matters. Like, oh, the betas go over here to poly and the alphas go to monogamy. I know a lot of all of those who are in these whatever pseudo monogamous relationships, and they alpha to omega, they all the whole alphabet. So to me, that's just bullshit.
Agreed.
You know,
that is the type of mindset that we kind of really need to.
Right, but that's a lot of work.
It's never really going to go anywhere because men are going to be men, and they're the one that push the narrative when it comes to that. So, and we just support it. Way too many of us support it.
Right, yeah, and I do believe that like the narrative is pushed because in one way it benefits them.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that for a good percentage of those men, they realize, oh wait, it doesn't benefit me, because a lot of them are living in these style relationships, but they are in some mental delusion that they're not. You know,
I think all relationships though have some type of challenges that's going to put you into some mental resistance regardless. You know, even like the concept that we talked about earlier, you know, about I could never be what the hell, how did it go? I can never be, I don't forget how the hell the goddamn saying goes. I can never be I could be a boyfriend to a woman that has a husband, and I went brain dead. Anyway, even that's going to bring some type of like, you know, kind of emotional challenges too, because we say that, but in some sense too, when emotions do get invested, you know, sometimes we do, because we're in a sharing concept. And no matter how much understanding you have, sometimes you do still want that individual there and right there for you. And it does. So I think at the end of the day, everything, no matter what it is or what you're choosing to do, if it's polygyny, polyandry, monogamy, monogamous, open relationship, you have to make sure your core values are not going to be jeopardized. As long as you align with your core values, it's always going to work in your favor, because that's your preference that you align with others. Yeah, That's my perspective on it, because I see everybody have their challenges. Because I sure, so you were hitting on the head. Yeah, having multiple women has given me, yes, it has been a headache. But when I was monogamous for 17 years, it was still a fucking headache. It was just a lot of work that I needed to do on myself. If it was me being with one woman or me being with two women, you know. So
trying to think of is I can be another boyfriend to my girlfriend, but I can't be another partner to my wife. It's just what it was like yeah, when we were married, when we just together, cool, do whatever you want to do. Once we married, man, you all me.
Right, yeah. And it's a big false narrative of like, well, I don't think it's necessarily a false narrative, but I think that it's just highlights commitment phobia, because there's no way that I'm gonna stop my partnership that I have and hope that it's something and not like experience the benefits and like the connection of like partnership in whatever ways. Okay. And like I said, like when you put that value on the different like levels of relationship, like if we just elevate all of that, even what girlfriend is or whatever, I think that stuff will come into more balance, and it won't be this big like jump where now I own you and now you're different and I'm different. Because usually it's one of them might end up being different and the other one not. And they're still living that life. And again, that's the delusion that I talk about. Like I don't even call it, oh, you're just like cheating or whatever all this stuff is. It's delusion. You know, and I do believe what you said, Natasha, about how the women will feed that, you know, for this false sense of security inside of their non-monogamous, monogamous facing relationships, you know, and we just gotta let that go. We really do, if that's your truth. You know what I'm saying?
I think that
there's a lot that comes along with that, like the whole. Oftentimes we'll have women that and pushback is so ridiculous. Even the videos that I remember the one that went viral where the young lady had the piece of paper and marking out, and it was so funny that people automatically went to, oh, she had sex with all of these people, when she made it clear this is a friend partnership. This is just a lover. This is she's not saying that she's even involved with all these people, but nobody's listening. Everybody her with this piece of paper with all of these names and all this stuff, and assuming that she is sexually engaged with everybody that she, even if she was, who gives a fuck? Right. But in this case, she wasn't. She's so closed-minded when it comes to women having multiple male partners. Now they don't feel the same way about it. At all. Right. Whether male involved or not. Like a lot of lesbian women don't deal with that we have, because it's not, men are not concerned about lesbian women, and they're concerned about us. They're like, oh, the ones that I can actually, that I actually have a chance with. Let me turn you. Let me get you out of this life. Let me save you, girl. You don't need, all you need is a real king. That is it. Now I'm gonna have a harem, but you just need to.
Right. And my thing is, there's a percentage that works, you know, but it's way smaller than what expected, you know.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. But it's like that percentage. Stop us to pull us into your no, honey. There is a core group of women who love and subscribe to all of those things. Date those women.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other women just got to be honest. Like I have goddesses that I work with, and they'll start dating a guy and they're like, yeah, I'm poly, me too. Oh yeah. And they're like, yeah, so I'm gonna have multiple wives and da 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 da. And she's like, okay, well, yeah, well, I would want to have multiple husbands. And it's not a same thing, right? And I tell them, it's not gonna work. You might as well just cut it off. It's not gonna work. Oh, well, they might work, but it's, the thing is, how you are is how you are. We evolve, but like what you desire in that way is different. The king dynamic is different from the goddess dynamic, and so let's just like, if you get with someone who's already spitting a certain level of like manism, misogynisms, it's not your job to heal that and fix that. You can be that ripple in their life if you want to give them that dose of that, balance. But I would say in this stage of the game of you actually building dynamics that you want, because it is men who's like, okay, it ain't like they necessarily are in dynamic with each other or whatever, or once they realize what they already are living in and that they don't necessarily have to change or give that up to be in partnership with someone, they may actually start to like see how it benefits them more. Like, I'm a polyandrous goddess. I actually probably have less sex having multiple male partners than I did when I was just like dating and you know what I'm saying? And it's not to say I'm counting like that, but I'm saying as far as what people say about promiscuity and all that stuff, like I have people that I'm connected to and I'm devoted to, not to say I can't connect with others, but where my mindset is and how I look at those dynamics, like those connections are real. And so I'm drawn to those connections, so having multiple committed situations doesn't even necessarily lend to like things being less safe or what have you. And I think that people don't look at how like having conscious connections like that can actually be safer.
And honestly, it's a really easy concept. We can compare it to, say you go to a buffet. Just because you're at a buffet and it's all that you can eat does not mean that you're going to eat everything that's there.
Right.
The things that you want, and that's it. You and everybody else can partake in all of the other things. So just because you're non-monogamous, we're all non-monogamous, does not mean that we out here just busting it wide open for everybody. No. Right. I have less sex now than I did before, because it's not just about that. Like, I have partnerships with individuals I'm involved with, so it's not just a sexually based situation. Like, there's emotions involved. Like, it's these are full on. I care about what happens to you. I care about your needs being met. Are you okay mentally? Are you okay emotionally? It's all of the things. So it's not just the free for all.
Right.
And I eating everything, because I don't even eat black eyed peas.
Right. No pork, no white. I mean, and I think that it comes down to like building inside of your actual life with these people, so there's aspects of my life that each of these people support me in directly or indirectly, and people always talk about kingdoms and all this stuff, but when you really start to look at getting back into like a community space, empire space, more where we are in collective versus like the individualism that monogamy pretty much like falls you into almost automatically. It is a smart move, even if you're not blending finances, before you actually to be able to cultivate things and like your network to really be one. Like, why does my network and my relationship have to be like these separate things? Why can't, if I choose to move in this certain way and build with people, I'm collaborating and I'm connecting, and that's a valuable partnership for me. And yes, I fuck these people. We have great sex, like whatever that part that you're over interested in, that's weird. That gets weird. You know what I'm saying? After a while. But I think it really just raises the consciousness of like what we're capable of doing with people. And then if we look back, like, I know that there have been monogamous couples who have raised people in community. And even that is a form of poly lifestyle, that we're trying to get people to say, like, it's not necessarily like we're trying to convert you. But I think it's just like a truth of interdependence that we live on, that more and more as the economy and the systems and everything that we are living in, you know what I'm saying, pushes us into this place that it is economically smart, just to be connected in your relationships like that and for y'all to be able to build together.
I agree. The economy is definitely pushing partnership over individuality, which probably is the point. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely a real thing. Like, let's face it, it's definitely more cost effective to have multiple people providing multiple incomes, in the household, however it looks. And that can look you paying half, and but that's still half of the money in our pocket. So I mean, either way it goes, still.
Or even just like intellectual wealth, like
that too.
I know my skills, what yours, like for us to be able to utilize that and not even have to pay for it or not have to do it in the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the mindset that I have around it is probably how communities that are not African based think about building their families and their legacies. You know what I'm saying? Who they connect with and marry, and these families coming together, like that is a thing. Like that's why Rothschilds and like all these people have these empires, and not to say I want to do it like that, because there's a colonization inside of that I recognize is toxic. Mm-hmm. But the understanding that there is a power in numbers and you can create your own community in that, and they did it and we're living inside of it. Like that we could benefit from.
There are people that are Black people, culturally grew up in Africa, the whole nine, and there is a different type of relationship dynamic within those groups of people. Like the entire community is fully invested on the success of your relationship and whatever that means, right? So the elders pick your partner based on your skill set, their skill set, what your family do, what his family does, and they bring you together in a way that makes sense, right? And then when there is conflict within your relationship, they separate the two. You go with the elder women, he goes with the elder men, and they counsel you in how to fix that, because the entire community is invested on your relationship sustaining. Because when your relationship works, it's a bigger part. You bring
this.
It's part of intimacy.
Oh, okay. I like that, but I feel like I have the autonomy to do that myself. I would love to have that, we have that, but I don't like I love that traditional foundation and bringing it into a little modern of our own.
Right, the idea of community, which is what we have, and you creating your community, because like I said, everybody is on the whole individualized basis that monogamy does bring forth. And it's like, what goes on in our house is our business. No, it's not. It's actually the community's business, and you got to create your community that really is invested, on the success of your relationship working and of y'all's empire that you build that working, and that's how you get on the level of the others. But we just have to unlearn so many things, Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that it's the American dream.
Yeah,
I went through it, and I was like, okay, now what? Sometimes you have to get to that space and know what you had it already. Realize you're not missing anything, and also that there can be more if you want it. That this is just like the cookie cutter image of success and happiness and love and family, and I'm not a cookie cutter, person. And so once you get okay with not being one of the little gingerbread on the pan, then you're cool. I think that is what we deal with is I'm not talking about the percentage who that's actually what you do, that's what you love, but I know that usually the answers that I get to why I have fear or shame behind it, and if that is the case, then to me, when you get down to your true essence, you're going to desire something different, and that's the real you, and that's who you should honor, and not.
I'm happy you do. That's just what it is. You can put forth the front of, oh yeah, good, but girl, you over the bowl.
Right.
Feels like, Lord, should I just let it go?
Right.
Release that.
Yeah, and I think with women and multiple male partners, it's this automatic mindset that is going to look the same style as the reverse. It's always going to be oh, okay, so they living in a house together. I do know people who live like that, but it isn't an automatic flip. So I think when they look at everything in reverse,
they don't get it.
Hell no. And that's not the lifestyle that I live, but I think it's just kind of for women that are tapped into you know, their raw essence and all those things. And you feel like once you get married, then you're gonna cut that off. Like, oh, I'm different now. Never last, or we wouldn't be, I think, in the position that we are now inside of marriage and divorce rates and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And saying a piece of where I can put some of the responsibility on women, on being true. Like, okay, like, you know, he wants to marry the good girl, so you turned to the good girl to become married. You know? And what is really the good girl? That's some bullshit to keep.
Whatever made it. Like, whatever girl was.
You know what I'm saying? And I think when men let go of, I want the good girl because I want my boys to feel like I got the good girl, but I still also want my boys to know I'm still a player and I got this stuff over here, and just love what you really like versus trying to like create this rhetoric. Oh yeah, that's the one that's gonna raise my kids. Like, women that don't have a tapped in sexuality cannot be good mothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you can have your tapped in sexuality and be a good father. Like, make it make sense.
A lot of times.
I love this. I've been crying. I'm taking all this in, but from this conversation, what I've been taking in is really everybody living their truth, regardless if it's a woman or a man, and they do not try to limit or try to alter someone who it is, and don't put the expectation of marriage to convert you. You know, because marriage should not convert you; it should grow you. And if you're gonna grow, you need to be naturally who you are organically. I love that. You know, I don't want no one to take the concept that, you know, these women are forcing that women, you know, go grab you multiple men. They're saying living your truth. How that truth is upon you, but don't let the structure of marriage, or just because you want to present yourself being a wholesome woman to this man that you feel like, oh, well, I cannot go explore or anything like that. They're just saying there's options out there. I just wanted to kind of clear that up real quick. But yeah, I'm loving this. I'm in awe. I'm just taking it in. So don't mind me.
There are some amazing. I have wonderful partners.
Me too.
Great men. Oh my God, great men. So it's not like these options are lesser. Girl, there are some good men out here that will let you be who you are.
Look, what UGK say? Get the most, not the lesser.
Oh, yes, Lord.
Like, I honestly feel like once, as a woman, you step into that truth and you start to move in that way, that's what you attract. You know, there's men that are living in their truth, and like, you're able to actually meet in a place of like what y'all need for each other.
Mm-hmm.
The rest kind of like, you know, goes away, and there could still be exclusivity in that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that people don't realize that there's still, you know, our boundaries and various things that are built in it. Is not necessarily just a free for all. But I think that, you know, the other side is just a possession piece. Mm-hmm. You know, like either side doesn't want to let go, you know, for fear of the stuff that they have not healed from, you know, the abandonment, their father issues, their mother issues, etc. You know, and what I find that but in the other side, in polygamy, I think the reason why a lot of triads fall out is because the sister-wife dynamic, it triggers the mother-daughter issue.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And most women that end up in these relationships where they go into the poly thing and they go into the gateway of another woman, and so now you're fighting your father wound and your mother wound at the same time, and it's usually overwhelming. And so
that word. That burned a few people. I can feel it burned them a little bit. They stinging right here.
How many women have especially like, let's say, you know, 30s, 40s, you know, maybe even some 20s, where you have a competitive relationship with your mother, you know, single parent household, even if you had a dad there, but you know, we're talking about some of the statistics, you know what I'm saying? And then there's a level of, I don't want to let this man go because I'm scared of abandonment, but then also the competitiveness that I felt, or the lack of trust, the lack of safety, whatever that you didn't get from your mother. Now you're projecting all of that onto the first wife or the second, whatever. And here we go.
And then there's this thing on social media going on right now that honestly disgusts me, where there's videos of babies. It's like the wife against the baby. Like, girl, get off my man. Like, this is my dad. And it's like, and that whole like, and people think it's cute. That ain't it.
Right.
That's weird behavior. Like, that is weird, and it is not funny. I don't know why people think that thing is funny, because that's weird.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think that gave me little like it gave me some little triggers of like weirdness too.
Yeah.
But I think that there's just some things that are in our like culture and like, you know, like just how Black families is, and that's my boyfriend, and you know, like that is just like idiosyncrasies that we don't realize are not in our best, like we're creating a negative ripple there.
You're putting little pebbles,
right,
your mind in the mind of your child, that there's a competition between, you know, this is your husband, this is my daddy. And so, Lord forbid, like you said, they get into a polyam situation where it's them and a sister wife, and now it's like, oh, she reminds me of my mom, and she
exactly.
Ooh, ooh, that's
or sister. Sometimes it could be like sister, like let's say a woman that her father has multiple children from different women, and then they come into polyamory, and now remind me of my dad's sister, even though he was not my biological dad, but he raised me as mine, but you were his biological dad, so I feel like you're the real sister, and just like I feel like you're the real wife. Like you know, that could be a thing too, like when we're dealing with how polyamory in our history, no matter what you want to call it, family up the street, go to the same church, whatever.
Ooh! Got a sibling across the street, you've been playing with them your whole life, and you ain't even
your whole life, that's your cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so we have this result of that, of our mamas and our papas that was Rolling Stones, and that was whatever they was, but they lied, and they gave us a false impression of what that was, and fed us rhetoric to be, you know, wholesome perfectionists. That's not true, you know. And here we go, trying to like put our best foot forward, and not just one person, but two. And I know you say like it's sometimes you can like roll things over in relationships and not pay attention to them, but when you get it from a 2 to a 3, and all 3 of them mirrors there's really not a big place to hide like it is in monogamous relationships. Like it's gonna get exposed, that corner somewhere, because there is a multiple, you know, you got the trifecta of reflection there. So I see it time and time again, and I think that when people look at it from like their root triggers of the jealousy of the possession and like the ego trips of like control, usually it goes back to something like that. And if that was ingrained into side like the relationship therapy of like dealing with that root chakra stuff, we could probably have a bigger like sustainability percentage, you know, because it's the same in single style dynamics, but you can live in it way longer and ignore that that's what's happening inside of your dynamic.
I can definitely see that. Y'all dropped a lot of look. I learned a lot from a woman's perspective of what it is to actually have a polyandrous or a woman with multiple men situation. Y'all gave me, yeah. There's now, mind you, what it sounds like. Also, when you use the mother-daughter thing, I believe in everything when it comes to non-monogamy. Everybody kind of has to put themselves in a position of how to communicate what their core morals are, you know, more aligned with themselves, to understand when they find themselves to connect and relate to multiple individuals, they know how to relate and maneuver within themselves, you know, so you don't, because you could have competitiveness in anything, you know, it could be 3 lesbians, it could be 3 gay males, it could be anything that you want to at the end of the day. So it does take a lot of self-work. And I love that you talked about the chakras and you know, everything with the balance. Look, we got 10 minutes. So I want to, because you were, man, look, I was quiet because I was taking all the information in. Natasha was loving it. Y'all were dropping some jewels. But you got an event coming up. What other things do you have also coming up? Because I know when we spoke on the phone, you have things on the weekend that you do. I do believe, as you said.
Yeah, so I have different events at the sanctuary that are members only, but you can become a member and join us. So we, you know, give honor to the moon. So we do full moon and new moon rituals every month. And that's, like I said, a members only thing. But the event that you're talking about, July 13, I am like leading up on bringing an event called Sex on Lean to Houston. It is Sex on lean. Like
I make sure that was on.
I hate this.
So, it's a pop-up. It's a one-day pop-up, July 13th. But the event series originates from an event called Sex Down South, and it was originated by two BIPOC women. Shout out to Marla and Tia, and they have been doing this for 9 going on 10 years of creating a space for sexual liberation, education, health, mental health, spirituality, and BDS, kink, non-monogamy, all of those kind of like disenfranchised or ostracized groups. You now have a place to come and get educated, to experience, to explore. And so they're bringing that convention that usually is a 3-day event in Atlanta to different parts of the country. So they've done Sex in the City, which is like New York, Sex on the Beach, which is Miami, Sex in the Middle, which is like Kansas City or something like that. And so now they come into H-Town, and it's called Sex on Lean. And so, since we are doing that work here in Houston, they connected with the Sanctuary and myself, and I'm going to be doing the keynote, which is going to be a rendition of what we call Pussy Church. And so you should come and experience that. And there's tons of workshops and speakers and different vendors that are all going to cater to those style of things. So very excited about that.
Because Sex on the Bayou would be very much lit. I'm just saying.
I like that. I ain't gonna hold you on that one.
On the Bayou.
Sex on the Bayou. Next level in the city. Ooh.
I like But yes. Anything you want to say? Any last words you want to get out to Natasha? Goddess, anything y'all want to put out there for the people? Things that they need to take, you know what I mean? Tools, things to be aware of, any advice?
So my last words would be to ladies. As you can see, we're out here, right? Mm-hmm. Our women and I'm bisexual, so I have, female partners as well, just like you. I don't say that I am male dominated. I just happen to have more male partners than I have female partners. But there are women like us out here, and this is a real thing. Like, we're not all just, there's not one type of cookie cutter way to do an open relationship. So find your tribe, right? Mm-hmm. All here to support you. And whatever, if you're kind of nervous, you're kind of scared, and you want someone to talk to, and maybe that little extra push for you to get out there and be who you really are, we're both available and ready and willing to assist in any way that you need. But don't feel like your desires and your wants and your needs should come secondary to anyone else, whether it's your kids, your partner, anybody. Because at the end of the day, you came in this world alone, and that's how you're going to leave. And it is your responsibility to make the best of the life that you have while you are here. So whatever that looks like, embrace it and just know that you have support. And we love y'all, and I appreciate you guys for coming. And thank you so much, Goddess Jessie. This has been one of my favorite shows.
Thank you. So I would say final words for me is ditto to everything, that she said. Your desires, people are living in that way. We do exist. And I would say that a lot of times, maybe you're not getting what you want because you don't really know what you want. And you ready to go on like a journey of figuring that out. I was just talking to, the brother, and, he was talking about that healing that needs to happen for you to have harmonious relationships, whether it be one or multiple. And so I, support women and men through that. And I think discovering who you are, discovering your own inner power is like that doorway. And I think a lot of times we skip that step. So don't skip that step. And if you want guidance through that, that's what we do here at the Sanctuary. So Sweet Love Sanctuary on Google, Sweet Love Sanctuary on Maps, Sweet Love Sanctuary on Instagram. Holler at me and come into community where you can just figure out what your freedom looks like and then how to live inside of that in like this tangible world.
I love that. thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Goddess Jesse. I love everything that you said tonight. I love everything. It does give. I think really, I was trying to think about how many interviews has there actually really been out there for the women to actually have the space. That's why I really wanted to just sit back and just take in everything that both y'all were saying. I knew having both y'all on here because you are a polyandrous dominated woman. Natasha, she does live a solo polyamorous, lifestyle too as well. So I knew the engagement was going to look like, I knew y'all were going to drop some jewels for women that are actually seeking the advice that is needed as they go on their journey. So I do appreciate this conversation. And you taking the time out tonight on this wonderful Sunday. But with that, my final words is I don't have anything. I think y'all said everything that I need. I think the one thing I do want people to take away from this is living your truth and don't limit yourself and don't allow shame or guilt to stop you from exploring of who you naturally are. I did love that you spoke on the shame and guilt because that's what stops a lot of people, and we don't get to explore our actual truth. I think that's the biggest message overall anyone should really take. With that being said, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Goddess Jess, Natasha. Yeah, next week we'll be back again. I appreciate y'all. Peace.